How do you know he loves you? His weathered hand brushed mine as he kindly voiced the question. My ring glittered in the lights glowing above his bed, and we both glanced at it before I answered. He is selfless and giving. He wants what is best for me, I answered as candidly as I could. Ah, he said with a grin and a wave, you just feel it. And he tapped his chest with his fist as his gray eyes twinkled. He went on to tell me about his girlfriend. He was so anxious to get home because she was waiting on him. They went to the same church and had met after he lost his wife of 56 years. It was an exciting time for him, a new beginning, and he glowed with the telling of it. I was struck by the little things he recounted, the everyday joys that most of us forget about. It was a few weeks later that he took a turn for the worse and was struggling to recognize even his family. I went to see him that evening. Confusion was written on his face as I took his hand and reintroduced myself. "Do you remember me?" I asked, suspecting the answer already. "Do you remember me?" he asked in response, and a tiny smile hovered at the corner of his mouth. "Is she still waiting at home for you?" I asked, leaning forward slightly. "She was here this afternoon," he replied. "Is your man still waiting to marry you?" he asked as he gripped my hand, and I smiled. "He is, just a few more days." "So he still loves you?" And his voice wavered with fatigue, but humor glimmered in his gray eyes. "He does." And I laid one hand on his brow and measured his pulse with my other. "He is a lucky man," he said, and his eyes closed in exhaustion. "Ah, that goes both ways," I assured him as I laid my stethoscope on his chest. And his breath rasped in my ears as I repositioned it. It was the sound of life struggling to win, and I sincerely hoped it would, at least for now, at least for a few more heartbeats, a few more days. He was a jewel trapped by sickness, and I wanted him to shine just a little longer. How do you measure life? What gives it value? Perhaps love, like life, finds value in being shared. Perhaps it is in the magic of giving your heart away that you find yourself, discover your own worth. There is beauty in new love and falling in love for the first time. There is a mystique in the uncertainty of fresh passion, of wondering just where that love will take you, just as there is something infinitely precious about the first, tentative steps a child takes learning to walk. But the beauty in that is the beauty inherent in all things new, not in the strength of that particular action. After all, when a child ingloriously falls on its well-padded backside, the glory of its recent accomplishment is quickly lost in a cacophony of offended cries. The beauty in seasoned love is that it comes with an understanding that not everything has to happen in 15 minutes. It has lived enough of life to recognize the cyclical nature of emotion and the steadfast endurance of love. How do I know he loves me then? Love is more than the sum of its parts, more than a combination of you plus me equals love. It is in giving yourself to each other that both grow and become something never possible alone. It is in the dailiness of life that forever love is forged, because forever is made up of todays and tomorrows and plans and goals, dreams and heartbreaks. It's car repairs and paying bills and kids getting hurt and grousing because someone's late. It's celebrations and tears and frustrations and hurt feelings. It's the passion of lovemaking in the middle of the night and the sweetness of love's reality in the morning light. It's failing and trying again. It's getting mad and making up, repeatedly. It's learning each other and growing together and giving each other space to fly solo every now and again. It's the little things we take for granted, because forever love is a daily thing.